Hello and welcome back to the Chattercade podcast, where I discuss media, all sorts of media, from movies to TV shows to video games, in the forms of discussions and reviews. I'm your host, Dragon Thomas Hughes, and today again possibly talking about two topics here. Depends how long one of them takes. If I do a second one, because obviously, again, this past weekend, last weekend at least, was a two-movie weekend for me. As I saw one on the Friday, and I saw one on the Saturday. Two similar, obviously, in terms of both comedy, but obviously two different types of genres utilizing that comedy. One being obviously a more child appropriate, more family friendly movie, and one being a horror movie. So I'm gonna see how we go with this one. So I'm going to start with the actual horror movie, which was the last one I saw, which is Death of a Unicorn, which obviously recently released. I think it was released in America looking back at this, 28. So it was released around the same time as Novocaine and the Working Man was released over here, but obviously it was released obviously in America at that time. So obviously instead of Novocaine and a Working Man, America had Death of a Unicorn and a Working Man. Let's say, but obviously now we got it like a good old week later, so we had that combined with the Minecraft movie. So it was two totally different movies. So last weekend it was two action movies. This weekend, two different types of comedies. So I say I wanted to watch Death of a Unicorn because it's got Paul Rudd in, and the trailer seemed interesting. It's a creature feature, but the creature being a killer unicorn, and to me that sounds intriguing. I like the scene in Shazam, Fury of the Gods, with the whole unicorn stuff. That was pretty cool. And I like the idea of being like, okay, this is something that a lot of media puts out as like this really nice, cutesy type of creature. But it's like, what if that cutesy type of creature just snapped like that? And that's what a Death of a Unicorn offers. It offers the idea of what if this sweet innocent thing essentially was kind of abused and pushed beyond its limits to the point of it becoming something more of its actual history, which is something a bit more violent, essentially. And obviously the story follows a father and daughter that head off to this estate in this like nature reserve, to basically, for the dad to kind of make sure he's getting on the board of directors for this company, where obviously the head of the company, played by Richard E. Grant, is obviously dying, and he wants to make sure he's on that board. But they're more of they prefer families, despite the fact they're a very dysfunctional family. So obviously that's the whole reason he brings his daughter, because they kind of think they're close, and obviously the reality is they're not as close as this family would want them to be, but they're kind of going to try and bullshit their way through it. He's all for it, she's not. Obviously, the father and daughter, Paul Rudd and Jenna Ortega, and obviously when they go to this obviously huge ass fucking estate, they meet, as I said, the dad, the mom, the son, the butler, the security, and on the way they kill a unicorn by mistake. Obviously they run it over. The dad, Paul Rudd, just brutally fucking smash it in the obviously tire iron, and that just leads to this calamity of this family finding out that the unicorns are not just this magical creature that no one thought was real, but reality, they are real. It was also the case of these creatures are good for medical purposes, because their horns, the blood, can fix you, which is obviously something we see with Paul Rudd and Jenna Ortega's character, where Jenna's got bad acne and Paul Rudd's got bad eyesight. And obviously not just bad eyesight, he also has bad allergies. That's all gone because they got splat with blood. This family, it's then the rest of the film's following this family trying to milk this unicorn for all it's worth, because obviously after some scientists tell them, oh, you can't replicate this, it's literally it's nature. You physically can't just replicate this blood, this horn dust, essentially. You can't replicate that. You have to have it from the source. And because at this point, there's one unicorn. It's the baby unicorn. They're just literally auctioning the rights to its medical purposes and making a lot of money from it. And all that leads eventually to the parents arriving and then going for killer animal on this group of characters, as obviously they come in to do some damage, sort of lure them all to spread out, and then one by one these unicorns are coming around and just fucking everyone up. Literally, if you're a security guard in this movie, you're not going to get very far. I feel like these type of movies, you know straight away, you're like, well, it's about like 5, 6, 7. I don't actually remember how many there was, but you know, you're looking at it going, oh, there's 7, 8 security there. They're not making it for the rest of this film. They're all gunners. They're there to add to this body count on the movie, which is what they're there for. And the movie does deliver the body count. When these unicorns start attacking to protect the young, they do just fucking just like kill, make a lot of blood, a lot of guts. I mean, you see someone's head get stomped on. One of the kills, which is actually in the trailer, obviously it's more drawn out, but one of the first kills you get to see, which is the horn for the chest, which is drawn out more in the movie. There's obviously a lot of fucking guts coming out and everything. And the practicals for the gore is really good. I mean, the digitals for the unicorns are excellent. There's just, like most films, there's a couple of shots where I look at and go, that could have been better. That could have been improved. But as an overall, it was fine. I think it was mainly just the scenes in the daylight, particularly at the end. There's some shots where you're just like, But all the nighttime stuff with the unicorn were fucking absolute perfect. And I love how the kind of, at points, it was very alien, specifically aliens, because obviously there's a whole like scene in the woods, which again is in the trailer. There's some shots of it in the trailer where obviously they're hunting the unicorn, and obviously they've got like essentially a sensor, which obviously, as you know, if you've watched Aliens, you know, always going to beep when it senses something nearby. But this is more linked to the electromagnetics in the horn, so it senses this, and there's literally, it goes full alien. And I think I even compared it to Jurassic World, the first one, the scene when they're hunting the Indominus, when they're using the tracker to find out where it is. It kind of reminded me of that as well. So there's a lot of references that I sort of, there might not been referenced to them, but I feel like Aliens is definitely something they took inspiration for. But I definitely see Jurassic World, that one sequence, heavily within this forest, obviously, hunt. But I say overall, I mean, the horror is really good in this. There's some really good horror moments, especially with the gore, and these really tense moments when the unicorns are hunting the family down. They're really good. I think the cast is excellent in this. I mean, Paul Rudd, there's his usual Paul Rudd level of performance, just without the comedy. I think for me, Will Poulter's probably the standout of this movie. Like, he delivers he's the fully comedic character that delivers all his lines absolute perfect. He's definitely the standout of this movie. I'm trying to remember the actor's name, actually, the other one. So I'm going to use this here real quick. Anthony Carrigan plays the butler in this, and he again was really good in this. He has a couple of lines where he's comedic and they land perfectly for me, but he's more designed for this character. You know, there's not much to him. He's just a butler, which obviously is what they treat him as. They kind of like treat him like shit, expect him to be doing everything. I mean, there's one scene with Will Poulter when he's in like a hot tub, and he's shouting him, and it's echoing, and that's you know. It's just like, okay, that's how they see this guy. They see him as, he's just staff. He's nothing more than that. So they can just like kind of just use and abuse him, which is again something they tried to do late in the movie, which works more in his favor than he'd originally expected to. But I say comedy is good, horror is good. I say CGI is good. The music's pretty damn good in this well. Some really tense music when the unicorns are around and hunting. But it's just one of those ones where I went in with moderate expectations. I wouldn't say I went in with like super high expectations, hoping that it'd be like this masterpiece of a movie. I went in going, okay, this it could go either way. It could go bad, could be good. I feel like that's the right mindset to go in with this. You don't want to go in too high on your expectations. I mean, technically speaking, you probably go low in your expectations, and you'll be a bit more impressed than what you set the bar as originally. So, as I said, I went in probably about expectations of like a 7. My hope would be higher than that, and I kind of feel like it was higher than that. So I feel like the bar being a 7 was a good thing for me because it meant I enjoyed it a lot more. And was like, okay, this is better than I thought it was going to be. So I mean, the reviews on it on Rotten Tomatoes, I know the critics are quite negative. Audiences around that, what I would describe as a 7 region. Because I think the critic audience is like 78, 76, something stupid like that. But I'd personally go higher. So I generally had a really fun time with this movie. I really did enjoy it. The cast was a big part that helped me really enjoy this. I mean, it's a really good ensemble cast. But obviously, I'm a good sucker for creature features. If you know me personally, you know the fact that I love a good creature feature. If you listen to me talk about some of the ones in the past I've talked about on here, I'm a big fan. I mean, the likes of Lake Placid, Anaconda, Jaws. The list will go on and on and on. Tremors. A good creature feature, in this case, a good animal horror, is something I'm always up for if done right. And for me, this is done as right as it could be, to the point of I absolutely enjoyed my experience with it. And just like most animal horror movies, which I pointed out as I walked out of the cinema after it finished with obviously Hayden, I went, why is it every animal horror, the end credit song has to be something related to the animal? Because the end credit song's regarding unicorns. So I find that quite funny that a lot of creature features milk that even more by doing that. Especially these more, I would say these more over the top, these more stupid ones. But I mean, Crawl wasn't stupid, and that had the pretty certain that had the "See You Later, Alligator" song as the end credit song. From my mind serves me correctly. Was that Rogue that had the? I know both had some sort of animal song at the end credit. It might be Rogue might have been different from one. But yeah, it's like, why is every single one got to throw this song in? But to be fair, it makes sense. Makes sense ending on a song related to the movie. So yeah, so I really like the story of it. I really like the idea of this father and daughter a bit more estranged, going to this obviously mansion, and both are on different sides of this. The dad's picturing it as, well, if I get this job, if I do everything they're telling me to do, even when it starts getting a bit more chaotic, if I go out hunting with them and whatnot, they're going to let me in to this whole deal even more. I'm going to get loads of money. We're set for life. I can make sure you're set for life. So you can understand from his perspective why he's trying to agree as much as he can with these, well, scumbags essentially, because they're bad people. But then you can also understand it from her perspective of, I don't want to be here. Something's not right. I'm connected a bit more to the situation with the unicorns. Please, let's leave. So you can understand why both sides of this coin, and why you could argue being there, and why you could argue not being there. So I like that. There's obviously, you can be split down the middle of, you can understand the right and wrong of this situation. And then as I said, the story goes on. One is pushing more heavily into this, well, the scumbags, I'm going to call it, and one's looking into more of this unicorn lore and finding more stuff out for them to just be like, back off, until the end when they're more like, okay, we're agreeing with you now. We see where you're coming from, so please tell us more. I like these two stories. They're on the same path, but taking different directions to get to the end game. So I do like that. And as I said, Will Porter's character, I'm going to point out again, he's the standout. I mean, the fact that his characters are eventually just like, okay, what if this drug we're testing here, what if it was less of a medical drug and more of a recreational drug, i.e., let's snort this fucking dust. So I like that, his whole character. But to be fair, when they explain a bit more about his past later on, a little bit of explanation, not like a massive explanation. Because these characters aren't really flushed out fully. It's just you get enough to get by, and that's fine. You don't need these massive in-depth explanations. Obviously, for example, like Paul Rudd and Jenna Ortega's characters, obviously the mom/wife, in the past she died. Obviously she died of, I'm guessing, similar disease to what they keep mentioning, which obviously is cancer, which is something that obviously hits really hard with me, given obviously the current situation. And obviously it doesn't give too much about their past. Like, the one bit of past explanation you get is the fact that they went to a museum. They saw this unicorn tapestry. That's something that she's now looking into a bit more, because that's helping her trying to understand what's going on with this unicorn, how this situation is going to play out, how we can stop this situation from going too far. So you don't get too much there, and I feel like that works in his favor, because I mean the movie is 107 minutes, which, what, an hour 40 is that? Yeah, but just shy of an hour 50, which is fine. I don't think this movie needs to be any longer. I don't think it needs to be any shorter. I think it does enough. Obviously, it takes a while before it gets into the horror, but that's because you're kind of trying to get to know these dirtbags, trying to get to know all these characters, and trying to get to the point of going, yeah, I want that character to die, I want that character to die, I want that character to die, I want that character to live. Like, it gets to that point, but when it gets actually into the unicorn plot line fully, like, and the ball starts rolling a bit more, it starts obviously drawing you in a bit more. And then obviously when it fully gets into the final act, which is when all the chaos obviously hits, that's when you're fully drawn in. But I feel like the first and second act are decent enough to get you in, because you got your learning the character act, you've got your middle ground of them learning the situation a bit more, and then you got the final bloodbath act. So I feel like it's perfectly paced to get by, and so I absolutely loved it, start to finish, everything about it. I enjoyed. I know Hayden also enjoyed it, but I think I enjoyed it quite a bit more than her. I feel like I was surprised with that, because I know she loves Jenna Ortega, so I thought she might have tipped it higher than I did, but I went higher. I'm guessing maybe because of my love for creature features. But so yeah, I'll say good cast, good, obviously, carnage when it happens, good score, good digital effects with a few little moments of just good practical effects for the gore itself, and a decent story, something different to what we've had before in terms of creature features. It feels like feels like a plot of like one of these low budget sci-fi movies that you get on the Sci-Fi Channel, but it's not. It's a $15 million cinematic experience, which at the moment, according to this, has only made just over $10 million, which it's going to be the case of it's not going to make its money back. But for me, that's a shame, because it's a great movie. But a lot of good movies sometimes don't make their monies back, because some people are a bit more, it's not their cup of tea, but it still has a decent reputation. And I feel like it's one that might be a cult movie down the line, and some of that, because a lot of creature features tend to be like Deep Blue Sea. It wasn't really loved review-wise when it first came out, but over time, it's found a bit more love with audience, so it's become more of a cult type movie. So I'm hoping this is that case, because when it comes out on Blu-ray, I'm definitely picking it up, because I want to watch it again, because it was really enjoyable. And I think like out of 10, I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. I say I really enjoyed myself with this movie. It's probably, I think I said last time, Novocaine is probably my favorite movie of the year. But for me, I think this just tops Novocaine because of my love for horror and my love for creature features. I think this just about tops it. So yeah, I feel like a 9 out of 10 is really the place I'm gonna put it. It's like quite like mid to high-ish 9 out of 10 as well. That's good. I'm gonna quickly deal with the situation, so I'm gonna take a quick break. But for you listening, it'll be, cut straight back in. So there's not a problem there. So I'm gonna take my quick break right now before I carry on. because I do have time to talk about the other movie I saw this past weekend, which was the more family orientated comedy movie. So we'll get into that right now. So the second movie I'm going to talk about right now, which was released also on Friday for us in the UK, is a Minecraft movie. This one obviously was directed by Jared Hess, who was known for the Napoleon Dynamite movie back in the day, and that Nacho Libre movie that Jack Black did, which is probably explains why this movie stars Jack Black in the titular role as Steve, Minecraft Steve. Obviously, this is based on the hit video game by Mojang, a game that I'm very familiar with. Obviously, having grown up with particularly the Xbox version, I heavily grew up on that rendition of the game. Over the years, I've obviously put a lot of hours into the PC version as well, but I'm more familiar with the Xbox rendition from all those years ago. Obviously, the movie, obviously, as well as Jack Black, you've also got Jason Momoa in this movie, and it's a movie that when the trailers came out, everyone was watching and being like, "This doesn't look great." It looks very much like it's going to be another shit video game adaptation, and considering the fact that Jack Black did a video game adaptation last year that everyone was like, "Oh god, this was awful." In the Borderlands movie, people are eyeing up like, "Is this another one? Is he just going to do back to back like really duds of video game movies?" And even myself, when I watched the trailer, I was like the mobs and everything. I was like, they look cool. Me and Hayden said the same thing. Like, the mobs and that look cool. Why couldn't they just do an entire movie with this effects? Have characters when they come into this world look and fit, obviously look like they fit from this world. Where you gotta have the run of the mill, bring obviously humans into this world and they still look humanoid. But when actually we did watch it, because we went to watch it with Connor and obviously his girlfriend, and we made sure we chose a time where there was probably not many kids. I think there was maybe 2 or 3 kids in there, so you had a few moments where you could hear them going, "Oh, look at that," and being really excited with what they're seeing. Because obviously this movie is definitely aimed more for children, because obviously there's a lot of humour that's definitely more suited for them. And on top of that, there's a lot of explaining for stuff that it over explains a lot of stuff, which is one of the things that Hayden pointed out she didn't like a lot, was the fact that they explained too much. But as I going into it, went in with pretty less expectations, if I'm going to be honest, than Death of the Unicorn. Like, I think I went into that like knowing the trailer looked pretty decent and going, okay, this should be okay. Whereas this, I kind of went into it being like, especially after him Borderlands last year, I was like, this is going to be one of those ones that's like, my hopes of a low score would be like a 5, like a mid card. It's one of those ones where it's hit and miss. Anything above 5 for me is just a blessing. And for me, this was actually a surprisingly decent movie. It's actually better than I expected. I mean, some of the humor at times is the one. It's one of those films that the humor at times makes you roll your eyes, like, "Oh god, what the fuck?" But at the same time, you're also laughing at it. Like, there's a scene which obviously people keep leaking online, where Jack Black and Jason Momoa are flying with the elytras, and they're kind of like top and tailing with it, and it's like one of those scenes where you're like, "What the fuck is going on right now? Like, what the hell?" But at the same time, I was still laughing. It was It's just one of those films where some of the stuff is so bad that it gets away with actually being good. It's a movie that visually actually is pretty damn good. I mean, the visuals are really nice on it. I mean, the designs for bringing to life the Minecraft world looks great. I think both me and Hayden agree that we would have preferred an entire movie looking like that rather than human characters, because they're not too bad. I think obviously Jack Black and Jason Momoa stand out the most as the best two, because they're just going full Momoa and full Jack Black in the situation, and that works heavily for them. And it does work heavily for being this more comedic movie. The rest of the characters are okay. They're not great. Obviously, they're not trying as much as Momoa and Black are, but they're trying enough. But I think it's just because them two they show that they're shining above everyone else because they're actually fully going in with this comedy, which makes sense being it's them two. But as I say, visually it looks good. I mean, there's some good music in it. I expected Jack Black to sing in this, and he does at the end. But there's a couple of other singing moments which I did not expect from him, which is funny. And I just keep seeing a lot of memes about some of the songs now. Like, this movie is one of those movies that is getting memed the hell out of, but it's still doing well at the box office. I mean, looking on the internet here, his budget is like 150, and at the moment it's made like just over 300 million. So it's going to be one of those ones that it's definitely making its money back. It might keep climbing. I don't think it's going to like go over $1 billion. I don't think it's going to do what Mario did back in 2023, but I feel like it's going to do a decent amount. Because obviously it's one of those ones where them aiming it heavily for kids and for people who played Minecraft, so there's a lot of references that people are going to understand. It's going to be draw those ones in, and that's where the money's going to keep going up, which is, as I feel like if they went for an older audience rather than aiming for kids, it might not have done this big on its opening weekend, because I know it's surpassed Mario in its first weekend in terms of its opening day, obviously opening day or opening weekend gross at least. But as I say, I don't think it's going to surpass it as an overall. I feel like it's got too much of a bigger fan base than Minecraft, because you can ask a lot of people, even if they don't play video games, they know who Mario is, they know who Luigi is, Bowser, Peach. When you say, obviously, a lot of people, you say Minecraft, they'd just be like, they'd either be like, oh, it's the game that you with the blocks, or they just won't have a fucking clue. But I feel like, because Mario being that more iconic name, that more iconic character, that's what probably helped that one a lot more. That, and they perfectly timed it when they actually released that one. But this is one of those ones where I say it's going to draw the kids in to go and watch it. And I mean, every time when I went to watch Death of the Unicorn on obviously the day after, on the Saturday, when I was walking around some shops and everything, I could just hear people constantly referencing, talking about the movie. So that either they'd gone to watch it or they were going to watch it, and I was like, okay, I literally just heard like 2 people walk past me back to back. I'm just like, what the? That's crazy. So, but yeah, I think it's a fun movie. It's definitely got a lot of laughs. It's definitely got some pretty decent fucking damn visuals. It's got decent action sequences. I do like its last action sequence, obviously the pig army versus the Iron Golem army. That's really fun to watch. And as I said, the mobs look fucking great. The zombies look really cool. The skeletons look really cool. Obviously, we get an Enderman in this movie, which looks great. I'm hoping we get a sequel, and I'm hoping they utilize an Ender Dragon maybe, because I just want to see an Ender Dragon in this visuals, because it would look fucking sick. Because I mean, the ghasts look really cool. I mean, there's that whole sequence of the ghasts like chasing after the characters, and they look really cool. It's one of those. It's one of those movies that isn't as bad as it could have been. Because it could have been an absolute fucking shit show. And yeah, I know the critics didn't get drawn to it, but if I'm being honest, I didn't think they would. I mean, the critics pretty much were sat on the fence in the middle on the Mario movie, whereas everyone else really enjoyed it. Yeah, the audience scores aren't as high on this one compared to the Mario movie, but they're a lot higher than the critics, which again, I'd expect it to be. Especially after watching it and being like, okay, this is very clearly aiming a lot more for kids because of the humor, because of how childish they're making the characters like Jack Black and Jason Momoa. I mean, they make them fully childish. That's clearly aimed at more of obviously a younger audience. Obviously they clearly put Momoa in there to try and at least draw the moms in, but like, hey, take your kids to watch this movie. You got Jason Momoa in it. You may not like the movie, but come on, it's got Jason Momoa in it. So it's one of those ones where there's probably a few reasons they put stuff in it to try and draw people in. I said the references to draw in the Minecraft fans. They got the more childlike humor, the more childlike story to bring in the younger audience, and then they say they got the hunky Jason Momoa to bring in the the moms basically to make sure they're taking the kids to watch this movie, or the dads, if they're really into Jason Momoa because of Aquaman. Because I mean, I think I saw one of the production behind the scenes videos, and there's like a trident, and he makes a reference being like, "Oh, it'd be really cool to fight with one of these." And I was like, "That's clearly a DC reference." So obviously, it's trying to cash in on the star power of Momoa and Black, because the rest of the cast aren't massive. I mean, you've got Jennifer Coolidge in it, obviously, but I wouldn't really say. I wouldn't put them in the same conversation as Jack Black and Jason Momoa in terms of their popularity. I mean, Jason Momoa because of Aquaman and his role in Dune, and then you look at Jack Black because I mean, Jack Black's in fucking everything. I mean, from Kung Fu Panda to obviously playing Bowser recently in the Mario movie. So I feel like them two are the big draws, which is why they're. I mean, look at the poster if I put a poster here, they're literally front and center on this poster, which makes sense. Because they're the draw for this movie. The rest, I mean, I feel like the brother makes sense because obviously he's meant to be the one that's able to craft his own with the imagination, so that makes sense that him being the story. But you could literally have taken out the sister and the estate agent, who's also a animal handler. You could have took them out, and it wouldn't have done too much to the story because they're like this little side plot that keeps popping up every now and again. You literally could have took it out, and it wouldn't have affected it. But I feel like the animal handler one makes sense because of obviously the final battle at least. But still, it's just one of those ones where there's more. Obviously, there's these two distinct three plot lines really going on. You got the Momoa, Jack Black, and obviously the brother character, their plot line, and you've obviously got the sister and the estate agent's plot line. But then you also got the Jennifer Coolidge and the Minecraft villager who's made his way into the real world. You've got the romance plot line there. If I'm being honest, looking at that, obviously all those plots, well, the Jack Black one makes sense because that's the main plot. But if I was picked between the Jennifer Coolidge random plot line and obviously the random cuts to the sister character and that every now and again, I'd probably take the Coolidge plot line over that one because that one was generally funny. This idea of her running over this villager, taking him out for dinner, and then slowly falling in love with him to the point of the end credit scene when we get an amazing cameo, which took me and Hayden by surprise because it's such a great cameo. And it's generally a really funny plot, really funny random subplot, which again, taking out the movie, you're not missing much, but I like that being there. And I say that one works better for me than the random cuts to the sister and the estate agent character talking to each other consistently, because they're not really adding too much to the movie, apart from when they get to the end of it. That's when they add a bit more to it. But in the middle and the start, they're not really adding much. So they're ones, it's kind of a slow burner with them compared to the other characters, which are more straight away. They're here, they know what they're doing. Particularly the brother, I mean, instantly built a fucking house, which is Jack Black, because, like, okay, that's better than anything I built first time round. But yeah, I love when the building stuff, it's pretty cool. I love the wolf in it. The wolf looks pretty sick. And there's some really goofy ass armor, which makes sense why it would look goofy, but it does look at the same time look pretty cool that they managed to make it. I think it's practical. I hope it's practical because it does look fucking damn good if it is practical. And obviously you got this plot on with the pigs zombie pigs trying to take over the overworld, which from what I was reading online, that plot was it online or was it Connor? It might have been Connor actually. It was on about the fact that zombie pig man stuff is more kind of the Minecraft Legends game, which I haven't played, so it makes sense that they'd probably utilize that for if they want to go with a story. And I am interested to see where they go with a sequel, because I know there's an end credit scene which kind of sets up a character for a sequel. You don't actually see the character fully because they're more likely going to recast them in the second one with an actual established star in the role, which happens a lot. But obviously, I missed the end credit scene actually in cinema because I thought the mid credit scene, that was it. Because especially with a kids film, you'd feel like the mid credit scene would be the big one, and the end one would just be the joke one for people who stayed. So I feel like that's what me and Hen said. They kind of put it the wrong way around. But I have seen it online. Obviously, I did see it posted online, so I know what the end credit scene exactly looks like. So I'm interested to see who they cast in that big role, and I'm also interested where they go with the story, because obviously they're going to go back to the Minecraft world, but I like to see them maybe go to the end. That'd be pretty cool. Go for an Ender Pearl, meet the Ender Dragon. That'd be pretty sick. But maybe that'd be a third one. Who knows? Because there's a lot of mobs that they can utilize for enemies, and maybe give talking roles to make them a bit more of an enemy rather than just like a zombie would be. Which is why obviously the zombie pigmen, when they kind of give at least two of them voice roles to work with, which makes sense. Because you can't. It's an antagonist. You need to, especially within the kids' film, they got to obviously kind of constantly explain what they're doing, what they're trying to do. It makes sense that give them an actual voice to do it. Besides, obviously, the voice actress they use for the zombie pig, the head of the zombie pigs, which is the actress who was, I can't remember what the character's name was in Thor Ragnarok, but obviously she's Jeff Goldblum's like head of security in that one. You know, she's really good in it. She does a really good menacing. She does a really good villain, basically. I mean, there's literally the scene in the trailer when she freaking has got this little tiny zombie pig man, this little baby one, because obviously he's drawing a little picture, nice little picture, and she doesn't like creative, so she just offs him. And they do a really cool thing when they kill stuff like that, and it just turns into the pork chops like it does in the actual game. So I do like that. I do like when you're seeing obviously some of these mobs and that die, you get to see, like in the game, them becoming stuff like skeletons and their bones. I think the only stupid thing with the bones was the fact that there's like, whenever time the wolves turn up, there's always a bone on the floor randomly. Like, that makes no sense, but for the plot, it kind of has to. But still, it's one of those ones where they probably could have done something different, and it probably would have worked a lot better. But I feel like for what we actually got, it wasn't terrible. It was better than passable. It actually was pretty entertaining, thanks to its leading stars, at least, Jack Black and Jason Momoa, due to obviously its visuals, and some of its sets. Obviously, the set locations, they look really good. Plus, that Jennifer Coolidge plotline for me just steals the show. So, obviously, I'm hoping at some point maybe I'll get Alex on to do a much more in-depth spoiler talk on this movie. But for this spoiler-free one, I feel like I've said my piece. So out of 10, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. It's actually pretty good. It's better than expected. It's better than what a lot of people have said it is. If you're okay with them over-explaining stuff, you can get through it. Just go for the over-the-top comedy and the really cool visuals. That's all you need to go for, in my opinion. So, yeah. Obviously, if you've seen Death for Unicorn or a Minecraft movie, put your thoughts on them in the comments below. Which one if you've seen both, which one do you like more? Also, with both, what could they have done better to improve upon it? And obviously, with the Minecraft movie, at least, what would you like to see them do in a sequel to improve on this first one? Or is there anything specifically from Minecraft that you'd like to see them import into a movie? Let's say, like, for me, the Ender Dragon is one thing I really want to see. And I can't think of anything else I really want to say. So, obviously, you can check out the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Audible, etc., etc. You can also check it out on YouTube, where you get to see all my other content. I did appear in some Minecraft videos on Alex's channel before, when he had a very brief series on there. I would love to get into an actual Minecraft series at some point on the channel, but at the moment I'm too invested in Assassin's Creed, and hopefully soon, if not already out, Split Fiction, because I know I had some issues with it, but we'll see if, actually it won't be out yet, be next week or the week after for Split Fiction, because as I say, there's some issues we've had with our first attempt at it. If you've seen Alex's live stream, you'll understand why. If you haven't, just keep it on the channel. There's a video I'm going to put out which is going to show the issues we had. So yeah, obviously next week, I actually have already done next week's episode, which is Assassin's Creed Rogue review, because the Monday and Wednesday slot on the channel next week, and the Saturday, Monday, and Wednesday over the course, and obviously between now and the next podcast, those are the last 3 episodes of Assassin's Creed Rogue going out. The next week's episode is my review on Assassin's Creed Rogue. And yeah, that's pretty much everything I can really think of. I hope you enjoyed this episode, another 2-movie review. And I say, with Minecraft, I'm definitely at some point going to look down the line, look at getting Alex or even Connor to sit down and actually do a proper more spoiler talk on it. But this is to say, this is my brief. I say brief; it's 20 minutes long so far. Well, an extra 20. This segment's been about 20 minutes. It's just my initial thoughts, initial non-spoiler thoughts on the movie. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I hope to see you next week for the Assassin's Creed Rogue review. If not, I'll see you whenever I see you next. So till then, goodbye. If you like what you've seen, don't be afraid to throw us a little like and subscribe. That's always very appreciated over here. And well, I'll see you on the next video.